This is Adrienne from Fame Consulting. I'm here today with some tips on how to claim the dependent care credit. So, what is this? It is a credit for taxpayers who have someone maybe inside the home or maybe a daycare facility or other facility that they pay to watch their children or dependents while they are at work or seeking employment. This credit could be worth up to $8,000 if you have 2 or more kids. If you have 1 child or dependent, it can be worth up to $4,000. So, who's eligible to claim this? And I normally don't read directly from the IRS, but I think it's really important to make sure that we nail this down. So you are eligible to claim this credit if you or your spouse, if you're married or filing a joint return, pay someone else to care for 1 or more qualifying persons in order for you to work or look for work, and your income level is within the income limits set for the credit. So I know everyone gets really excited, like, oh my goodness, $8,000, what do I have to do? But it's really important that we understand who's eligible and how you can claim it. All right. So in order to claim this credit, there are a few things that you'll need to get from the care provider. You'll need the total amount that you paid them for the year, and that's really important because it will go into the calculation of this potential credit. You'll need their tax ID number. So that's either their social if it's an individual, or if it's a business, you'll need their EIN number. You'll need their address where they're providing this service, or where they can be located, whatever address they're using. And then you'll also need to complete a form 2441 with your tax return. So on your 1040, your tax preparer should be adding form 2441, which will help to calculate this credit for you. So another important caveat is you need to also have earned income during the year that you're claiming this credit, because that number also gets factored into the calculation as well. So if you are someone who has an outside provider or someone who's in your home, you can actually give them what's called a form W-10 to request the information that you will need in order to complete form 2441. It is a request for their tax identification number, address, and name. So that information in order to fill out the necessary information for form 2441. All right. So who can you claim? So it's not just your son or daughter. There are other people that you can claim. You can claim a dependent who you care for if they're under age 13. So I guess, IRS has determined that at 13 you can kind of watch yourself, I guess. All right, fine. So you can also claim your spouse if he or she is not able to care for themselves. They may be mentally or physically disabled, and you'd be able to claim for them if they live with you for more than half the year. You can also claim a person who isn't mentally or physically able to care for themselves, and they live with you for more than half the year. You can claim them if they're your dependent, or you can even claim them as well for this credit if they are someone who is required to file their own return, but you still provide the majority of their care. Sometimes that case happens when they reach certain income thresholds, and then they still have to file a return, but you can still claim them for the purposes of this credit. So how is it calculated? So like I said before, there are additional forms that your tax preparer will add to your return. They will put those numbers in to see how much you'd be eligible for. I just want to kind of talk about the mechanics of how the credit works. So the IRS wants to make sure that you actually had earned income. So on the form itself, when you're calculating the credit, they're going to look at up to 50% of your income and use that as almost as like a bar to see, okay, how much are they going to qualify for? So just think about it. Whatever your earned income was for the year, they then divide that in half, 50% of it, that becomes one hurdle that you need to get over. The next thing they're going to look at is, well, how much did you actually spend for the whole year? if you spent $16,000 for the year and you had 2 children, that you would maximize the credit. You would be able to potentially get half of the $16,000. So it's always 50% of whatever you paid in actual expenses, up to $16,000. So if you paid $20,000 for the year, it would be limited to 16, and then half of that 16. If you paid $10,000 for the year, you'd be within, you're not over the threshold, so it'd be limited to your $10,000 multiplied by 50%. $5,000 would be the potential credit that you would be eligible for. And I do want to bring back the first hurdle that we mentioned, your income. So if your income, your taxable income is over that the hurdle B's threshold, so hurdle B is how much did you actually spend? If 50% of your income is over that second hurdle, then you might be able to qualify for the full credit. I say might because, as always, there's always a limitation. So if your adjusted gross income is more than $125,000, then this credit starts to phase out over a certain threshold, and then it's completely phased out once your AGI is over $438,000. So those are the numbers for 2021. Again, most credits are indexed and fluctuate annually, so you'll always want to double check to see what the limitation is for the next year that you're filing. So this is great news, because if you're someone who had, a youngster or a child in daycare, and you have to pay that expense in order for you to go to work and earn a living, right? So this is a way for you to get back some of those dollars that you've been paying out throughout the year, and really help parents out, because we all need childcare at the end of the day. So this credit wasn't always refundable, but it is for 2021. So what does that mean? That means that if you'll get the money back. So they'll add it on to they'll add it in the credit section, and you can actually increase your refund by the amount of this credit. So that means that if you were potentially getting a refund of $2,000, and then now you have this credit for $4,000, you would increase your refund to $6,000. So it's definitely really valuable if you qualify, or if you had dependents. If you in the past, or maybe you're a new parent and you weren't aware that there is a credit out there for these dependent care expenses, definitely check it out. If you need any support, you need any help, or have any questions, please feel free to comment below, shoot me a message, and I will get back to you. So I'll be back. I have a few other topics that I really want to cover around credits, and different credits and things that homeowners will be able to apply for. So please stay tuned. Make sure that you check out my videos every week. That way you can stay up to date, learn something new, and I'll be back next Wednesday.